Live from the Real Guppy Dockside Learning and Multimedia Center. It's the Real Angler Podcast with community Kevin Brannon. Brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Islands Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. And now, here's your host, community Kevin Brannon. Today's guest, Axel Stelter of Karls USA Project Development.
Yeah, so this is Barry right here. This is our mascot. I'm the California bear. It's our state animal, and I'm built like a bear. And I got this up in Sacramento, but this is Barry. You know where I got the name Barry? My son used to have an animal that he called Barry. That was his favorite little stuffed animal, so I kind of adopted the name Barry. Anyway, so this is our Barry. But today, speaking of berries, we'll transition into strawberry land, that kind of thing that's come into here to the Fisherman's Wharf in Channel Islands. And this is Carl. I'm sorry. This is Axel from Karls Land. I seen the case, so I jumped into the Carl, but it might be for Kevin as well. We're funny. We were talking about it when he walked in. He got his Letterman's jacket here. But we get a lot of questions, Axel, about like what's coming up and what's going on. We're excited that you guys are coming. We went to the first presentation that you guys did down in the Oxnard Performing Arts Center a couple years back. So I've been following it along because we're going to be affected, and people ask questions about where we're going. But no matter if we were going or staying, I've been living out here for so long that I knew that this area needed something. So we're in full support of whatever they did develop here. It's a redevelopment. It's not a new development. It's a rundown development. And I got some of your history. We'll go into it again. We don't script it. Again, I'm sorry for goofing up your name, calling you Carl, and it's Axel. I know that. And anyway, introduce yourself, tell them what you do, and then we'll just kind of ask some questions and just kind of enlighten people on exactly what is going on.
All right, Kevin, thanks for the energetic intro. So I think a good segue right now is the Karls situation you just brought up, right? I think it happens so often, right? So people that we work with, they contact us and they're like, "Hey, Carl, how's the project going?" And I'm always like, I'm not Carl, and the owner's name is also not Carl, but I could explain this right now and why the name Karls came up. And we are a German family enterprise that was founded in 1921 already. And the founder's name was Karl, right? And Karl is the grandfather of the current owner, Robert Dahl. Robert Dahl is right now the guy who is running the Karls with his family in Germany, and he is also my boss, I would say, and working with me here to get this project off the ground here in Oxnard. And his name is Robert. His grandfather's name is Karl, and the brand name Karls, 1921, the year it was founded. That's how this comes about, right? So no hard feelings about calling me Karls. It's almost more like a compliment. So it's all good.
Good. I got to know my guest. I take pride in knowing who I'm talking to. I get sometimes they call me Brandon because my last name is Brannon, and I just go with it. Yeah, Brandon. They say they're trying. So. It happens to all of us, I guess. So I don't feel it quite so. Sometimes I'm so defensive that I got to make up a story on why I make a mistake. So I won't do that with you today. But thanks for understanding. So some of the history of Karls Land, from what I've heard, you let you go into more detail. And what is symbolic about it, you can see the strawberry there, the strawberry here, is that didn't his grandfather come out to Oxnard? Because you guys were strawberry farmers in Germany, right? And that's where he started at, and he would come out here to talk to the farmers in Oxnard because of our strawberry agriculture. Is that part of the story?
You have a great memory. Yes, that's kind of the story. So the grandfather took Robert and his dad. They came out to Oxnard a lot over the last 30, 40, 50 years, and learned a lot about strawberry farming in Oxnard, and took the knowledge back to Germany, and actually. Right now, Karls is the largest strawberry grower in Germany, and that is another part of the Karls business, that we grow a lot of strawberries, and there's a deep emotional connection to Oxnard in that regard with the Dahl family.
I think that's important, and I tell that story a lot. because people might think, oh, somebody just coming up here to because Oxnard is kind of, I don't know if you heard the term out here, we're kind of Kentucky. Have you heard that phrase?
Yeah, I heard the term.
Yeah, because we're a little country. There's a lot of old families out here and locals, and especially like on Silver Strand Beach and stuff like that. And it's like, we like local stuff and what's going on. So you do have a tie into Oxnard, which I always try to highlight with people, that you're not just, some developer coming from somewhere to come in and build this little gold mine here, that you actually have some roots that are rooted in here, using a little agricultural terminology there. And that people are like, oh, really? Oh, we didn't know, because they think for maybe the first presentation, the ones that have seen it, you're building this Knott's Berry Farm type of a thing, but you could only show the videos from the other Karls that you guys have throughout the world. How many total Karls are there now? Is there like 10 of them?
So there's a total of 7 larger Karlses and a few smaller locations with retail stores and also actually one renovated castle that was turned into a Karls.
I've seen that one.
And we are opening a new Karls again in about 4 weeks in close to Hamburg, and we are planning on opening another Karls almost every year over the next few years, and we really want to make it so that no German has to drive further than 60 minutes to get to a Karls. That is the mission of Karls in Germany, right? But again, it's a separate mission of what we have here. Our mission right now is to get a nice foothold in Oxnard, California, because of the emotional connection, because of the strawberry capital of the world and the emotional connection. And of course, it being just a fantastic place for innovation and weather, of course, yeah.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to you guys developing something right here. And again, I've been to a couple planning meetings. I'll tell you what, it's interesting when we did the first presentation, right? And I liked your guys' idea because the other one kind of looked like kind of similar to Ventura Harbor already, and to have a duplicate within a couple of miles, I thought, different retail stores, where your guys' idea and that you guys are going to run the whole thing. You don't have like empty spaces. If there's an empty vacancy, you guys are going to do it all in house. So if one of your stores isn't really performing the way you guys would want it, that you guys have a chance to modify or create something that's generates more, I guess, interest, but it won't sit there. There won't be a couple of empty locations here and there spread out. You guys are going to run the whole complex.
Yeah, exactly. That's the benefit of us being the operator as well, because let's say there's a part of this development that doesn't work too well. Let's say there's a food outlet where we sell a product that it turns out the people don't like it. We can quickly make the adjustment and turn the food outlet into something different or serve a different type of food. And then that allow me now to just quickly explain to the listeners on what we really do, right? It's a new form of we call it retailtainment, right? Mm-hmm. So you imagine you go into these
write that one down.
Into these big structures. They look kind of barn-like, and you come in and first thing you see is a bakery. You see the baker actually knitting the dough and putting the bread in the oven. Then at the end of it, you can buy the bread right there. He has a little microphone. He's explaining on what he's doing, right? So then you have a strawberry jam kitchen, right, where people make strawberry jam. They take the strawberries from the field. They make it right there in front of the eyes of the consumer, of the fan, and they explain on what they're doing, and you can buy it right there. We do the same with coffee and chocolate. And as you walk through this big retail experience, you have all these little sections of edutainment. And that makes it very special, and you don't really get bored, and you always find something interesting. And the most appealing thing about it is that there is no entrance fee, right? So
it's free. You hear that?
You can walk in there.
Well, to get in, right? It's just open. You guys open a gate, and then people just
exactly. It's free. It's like you can go to a Trader Joe's or something like that. You just walk in for free. Of course, we hope
it's like an outlet, right? Like kind of how the outlets are set up, like an Esplanade, but I'm just trying to paint it for the people that it's a complex type of thing, but there's no entry fee to get into the complex. All those things are amenities that are inside.
Yeah, we call them villages over in Germany, right? We call them villages, and there is landscaping, and there are playgrounds, and there are miniature rides that can be used, and all of that constitutes a village in a way. And you walk into the village, and you don't have to pay anything, and you don't have to pay anything for parking. So what's really important to the Karls mission is to be a low threshold, right? That Kevin can take your kids on Saturday morning and decide, hey, I don't have anything planned today, and let's just walk over to Karls. No risk involved. You can decide if you just buy a coffee or if you have a whole lunch there and buy a few more retail items. That is totally up to you. You are in control, right? And especially here now, going to Disneyland with your kids. I just went with my kids to Disneyland a few weeks ago, and that was the first time I took my kids, like a decade or so ago. I went by myself, and it has gotten really it's a logistical miracle you have to pull off, right? To get it done. And the research we've done is that a lot of people actually go into credit card debt, etc., to facilitate trips like that. And so we are trying.
I'll tell you. Jump in. I told my kids. I took my oldest daughter when she was about 6 or 8, no, something like that, 6, and I told the other kids it burned down. I told my kids Disneyland burned down. We ain't going back. And I never took them.
I hope they don't have the internet. So they.
Yeah. Well, now I got a granddaughter, and I told them that and Chuck E. Cheese burned down just because I thought it was chaos, Okay. And I got a granddaughter. I'm like, we're going to Disneyland. I told my kids they rebuilt it, and she goes, Dad, it never like they know it was just an ongoing joke because of the logistic thing that you talked about. Yeah. I just didn't. Again, that's just me. I'm not here to I know that the Guppy Dockside Learning Center. I tell people to come in here when they you say, wow, you got so much stuff in here. I'm like, this is actually where Mickey Mouse comes on his day off. He comes to visit us. But anyway, go ahead. I'll let you get back in. I just wanted to tell that what you're talking about, the logistics. I went ahead with the whole story to my kids that it no longer existed.
Yeah, and no, it's a great story, and I think your kids, once they grow up, they will realize, oh man, this was really something.
I told her, hey, it's up to you to tell your granddaughter. We can keep the story going as long as we want. I know we're gonna go, Dad. So anyway,
just check on Google Maps. It's still there, right?
Yeah.
No, but it's challenging, and especially once you have kids, you look at these things from a different perspective. But but what we really are about is not just about the kids, right? Yeah. It's just about everyone, and nowadays we tend to always feel like, Republican, Democrat, or like old people, young people, kids. I think it's a holistic thing, right?
No, I'm with you.
Where it's for humans, it's for people, and for the community to enjoy.
I'm with you. Because people say, you guys are the ones that take the kids fishing. We're like, we take everybody fishing. Mm-hmm. The TV show is about getting Rolanger's fishing shows to show how anybody can fish. Average Janes and Joes. You don't have to be a kid. So this year we actually started terming this phrase, there's a kid in all of us, so that way everybody could come out and experience fishing, or these things that you said. I know that right now, like, entertainment is huge right now, like people want to be more entertained for what they're doing with their disposable income, and it used to be that way, and that's what we used to do. People want more of that in entertainment. And also, what you put edutainment, like our kid program, we show all the seashells and what we're doing. The fish aren't biting. There's a lot more of that edutainment, which is really good, and the experiences, and not just with the kids, man, but you can come as a family. I know you kind of painted this picture that you walk into Karls Land, you get yourself a brat, you get yourself a beer, and you kind of make your way through. Let's talk about some of the adult amenities, I guess, if you would, that you guys are going to have.
Well, again, I'm not trying to differentiate it too much. I think the adult amenities, what I enjoy as an adult there, my wife and I, when we go to Karls, is we just enjoy the enormous amount of inspiration you have at every corner, right? Just these little devils in the detail, right? Like you have around your office here everywhere, right? You just start looking around, you discover more things. Like over there's a fishing pole that's probably, I don't know, 200 years old. Probably not. I'm not a fisherman really, but
pretty close.
It's so these are the things that you discover in Karls, and then you see 1,000 of those things, and you get inspired. And sometimes you just tell your wife, "Hey, we got to go home. We got to do that there," and that level of engagement with a place, I think that makes it really exciting then for adults, right? But of course also for kids. That is just one example.
Yeah, that's good. I like the way that you always bring that up, when we've talked at the table, because I'm geared with you as well. Because people say, oh, it's going to be a place for kids, and maybe that will prevent, if we're just going to go to a place for a bunch of kids running around and screaming and having that, then you have enough exploration for everybody. And I think that's genius, man.
That is a great summary. Exploration for everybody, and it naturally always develops, right? I mean, the adults tend to go shopping more, go look at the merch, look at the sausages, the cheese, and the kids, of course, they want to go to the playgrounds, and I think that's why it's a perfect mixture of everything for everyone.
I'm excited, man. Like I said, I've been to enough of them, and the way that you guys are redeveloping too. So some of the buildings will be, the space hasn't been really taken care of in a couple of decades. So I'm sure some of the interiors of the construction might need to be rebuilt, right? But some of it you guys are trying to keep, and there's going to be some building structures that are outside, so it still has a fisherman's wharf kind of look to it, right? It's not like you're coming in and remodeling every aspect of the what'd you call it, village?
Village, yeah. They called it a village back in the day too, like the Ventura Harbor Village, right? They call it village. It's always a nice term, I think. We definitely, we're going to keep the lighthouse for sure. In terms of the houses, the buildings, it's going to get a little more difficult to really retain a lot of those. So most of it is going to come down, but we replace it with, a similar look, and also with something where when you arrive at the intersection here, there's a big intersection, Victoria and West Channel Island. When you arrive there, that you really see, hey, I have arrived at the harbor, and I have arrived at something new and interesting, and that will be Karls, and creating this mixture of, tying these ocean maritime themes into the development,
Yeah, man. And you guys took this. So if you're listening, if you've ever been here, there's a commercial dock. They have the floor and outline where the commercial trucks could still come in safely and load on the dock. They're going to extend the dock out, right? So that there'll be some things that are going on this little boardwalk area, right? It's going to extend a little ways out.
Exactly.
And just all kind, like watching them, go back to the drawing board, keep in mind what they would like to see down here, and you guys going back and forth. And I believe, is it a 20-year agreement that you guys are getting into to be up and running for?
We are on a 30-year agreement right now with the harbor, with an option to extend it, and that is of course a long time commitment, and that's why we really want to make sure we fit into the community well, and respect the heritage, and respect everyone around here. But back to that is a great topic for this podcast here, because the commercial fishermen, there's a big commercial pier here, and they are we did not know this, but apparently Oxnard is one of the largest urchin not producers, but urchin exporters in the world, and so diving into this topic made us really appreciate how deeply these commercial fishermen are engaged.
I see his fishing lingo, diving for them, dumping in deep. Yeah,
I would really I would just like to try it. I would probably get poked, right?
So one time, the guy pulls up there, and he opens one up for me and my kid to eat.
Oh yeah,
it's a little weird, man.
Yeah.
He's like, "Here, try it." He put his thumb in there where the here, I'll get it for you. Hold on, just 1 sec. Oops, sorry, Scotty, coming through, just right here. We have urchins here. They brought us one from the commercial dock.
So how do they grab it with a glove and then just pick it up off the ground?
They must, yeah.
So there's one right there. So what they do, they also have this little rake where they open up like their little yellow, like kind of like a vacuum bag.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And they swim around, and they just kind of scoop them into this vacuum bag. But that's one there. This is what it looks like when it's all dried out. And then they brought us one. So the guy put his thumb right in here, and he popped it open, and then we try to eat the uni out of it. That's the yellow stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's
the smell is still there, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We had to leave that one outside the door for a couple of days to we kind of normally don't kill them unless we're going to eat them, but the guy's like, we have baskets of them, just keep this one. So we kept that one to show it. And then we actually use these for responsibility training too. So kids like, aren't those poisonous? Well, it could be venomous, but if you hold it properly, it's not going to hurt you. Like the scuba, you could hold it, but if you step right on it and that breaks off into your foot, So if you don't watch where you're putting your feet at, is it the shell's fault or is it your fault? So we kind of use it as a responsibility tool when I'm doing my teaching. But this is one of the biggest exports out here. So that's what's kind of neat about this Ventucky. You have commercial fishing, you have sport fishing, you have recreation, and then you have all this agriculture, man. And you guys are going to bring it all.
I mean,
kind of
that's just
this,
a great place in general to be. And, every time driving down here, the road going between the strawberry fields on the left, and you got.
Have you seen on the sunrise? Like when you drive up, try to Victoria about 7 o'clock. I want to go to the radio and just look to the right towards the airport.
Yeah,
man, it is just like it's. You ever watch those movies where they're in the country, like Montana or something, and you see it? It's like our version. So grab yourself a coffee and hold up the other way at about 7 in the morning and just look at that sun hit those fields, man, and it's breathtaking. But it's
magical, yeah. I mean, so many things coming together here, and I think that's why it's a very unique place, and we see how people like it here, and there are a lot of topics you can derive from it. I mean, this is the overarching topic, of course, the California bear, and coincidentally our symbol is also the bear, we call it. He's right here.
I was watching one of your videos on Instagram the other day when he was getting ready to go and he was opening up the doors and stuff. He was getting his coffee together and getting ready. And I was like, trying to ponder what
Yeah,
exactly
his name is Karlchen, right? And so he is a bear like the California state bear, and so it's a lot of things coming together here. Yeah, but to go back to the urchins, right? It's anyone who hasn't been out here, come out to the dock. It's just like a spectacle. You can look at it for free, right? Just go up to the dock, and these guys come out in the afternoon. They come from the ocean, bring in their catch, and these massive baskets full of urchins, and they just plop them into a crate and drive them off. And we had actually the opportunity. One of the guys offered us to come to the factory and look at how they
Did you check it out?
picked it apart. We checked it out, and they let us eat it right away.
Yeah.
And
What'd you think?
It's like oysters. It's a very distinct, just kind of a simple flavor.
Yeah.
There's not
like
much
a buttery, kind of salty.
Yeah.
At least that's what I thought when you opened it up for us and we ate it on the dock. But go ahead.
Yeah, and it really, I think you can do a lot with it. Depends on what kind of sauce you probably have with it. But anyways, it's amazing that Oxnard, is such a big sea urchin export city, and that's fascinating. So we want to make sure that when you sit in the restaurant at that wharf, right, that the fishermen, when they do this is the backdrop of the people eating there.
I'm picturing my brain works like a movie or a cartoon. So as you're saying it, I'm picturing it, right? People looking out and watching these trucks pull up and do it all. I'm visualizing it in action as you're describing, because that's just the kind of way I'm a visual guy.
That's
so
exactly
I'm
it.
smiling, listening to what you're saying, because I could see it. I could see the picture you're painting, man. I know it's gonna be incredible.
If you don't have a visual memory or picture brain like Kevin does, think about the Santa Barbara Pier, for example. There are lots of restaurants right along the pier, right? And the fishermen, they really have to get through all these people to get their catch in and out. And the people are sitting upstairs, Brophy's brothers, drinking a beer, eating a hamburger, and they can watch all of this. And that's what we envision here too. And by the way, I don't know if I told you, but we're planning with the Commercial Fishermen Association to perform a weekly fish market out on the newly created pier here. So a few stands, that the guys come in, bring their catch, and put it out there, on a Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, something like that. So to really tie all these things together here.
Well, that's very awesome. Like that goes into your retail-tainment and your edutainment, is that when I do my TV show and I explain the way that we showcase our television show, man, is to answer a lot of those questions. So people, like, if you go to the market, fish is probably one of the least things people buy because they don't know how to prepare it properly. It kind of frightens them on how to cook it. So if you could talk, like you could talk to your butcher, you could talk to the baker. So if you could talk to somebody that say, hey, this is a good rock. I sent you a picture of the ones I caught yesterday. And you're asking me questions. This is one you would cook whole. This is one that is good filleted. This is like that. So you're able to, that brings value to people to be able to talk to the person catching it, to get recipe ideas, and that, because that is a gap between people that order seafood at a restaurant that eat it only there versus people that take seafood home and cook it themselves.
100%, and I'm totally with you. When I saw the pictures of your fish yesterday, I was like, okay, what are you going to do with all of that, and how are you going to cook?
When the videos are up, I'll send them to you. Okay, I'll put them up on YouTube and I'll send you the video.
And what it does again, right? It's this low threshold in that regard too, where we're taking down boundaries on, the fish. Okay, if you've done it once and seen it once, it's actually really easy to do. All of a sudden, you have this, you can confidence, and you can feed yourself. Like we show people, hey,
more fishing terminology. I get you. I get you, Axel.
Yeah, actually, I when I was little, I used to fish a lot, and unfortunately, I'm not doing it anymore because it's a little more difficult in California. But anyways, the same with strawberry jam, right? People see how it's made, and all of a sudden, like, I can do this myself real quick. And I think to take that fear away, I think that's just a great thing, for your kids, for your community, right? Or for anyone around you.
Speaking the guppy language, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we do with our guppy stuff, man, is just teach them confidence, teach them that they could hold these things, teach them that they could figure out these reels, and now they can make it, with the term you use, low threshold, man. I'm writing a bunch of your terminology down, bro. I'm going to be using some of this stuff. You're good.
Yeah, that low threshold terminology is, that's something we got over, that we have in Germany. We have that word, and we translated it, and we found that this is one of the best translations for what we're going for, really, So but I agree, this is a great mission for your organization too, to keep it low threshold, because when you have a high threshold, be it financial or be it logistical, people are not going to come, and you're taking the barriers down. We're taking the barriers down.
So it's that segueing a little bit of this, where the guppies is going to be a part of the development out here. We're going to be moving locations, and they're going to put us up in a construction bin, right, for a while you guys are doing construction, and then we will transition over to a regular facility kind of by the lighthouse once everything is
Yes, correct.
constructed?
So we're gonna create an office space for the real guppies, so that despite the construction, that they're not being pushed out of this property, but also will have we call it the guppy headquarter within our planning team, the real guppy headquarter, HQ. That you guys have an office space with us, because we believe that what you're doing is great for the community, and we can complement each other.
Man, I'm looking forward to just, this is the only request. And you're gonna hear me say it again. You're gonna hear me say it here. I've been telling him this. There's a picture in Port Hueneme from when they started the pier development in the port years ago, and there's these men with the shovels in the dirt. And all I asked Axel was that if when they get to groundbreaking, I just want to be in, if possible, be in the photo with them, because we're here when the new construction starts, man, because I know this is going to be historic. This is monumental. The county supervisors love it. The commission loves it. It's just makes sense, man. And I think that, and again, when I go to bat for you guys and people come in here asking or what's going on that are misinformed or didn't show up or just hysterical because they lived here for so long, is that you guys, again, your methods, man, as many of these workshops that I've been to, in your blueprint and your tie into Oxnard for 3 generations, it's going to work. You know what I mean? And all the way you guys go back and develop and look at what you've done at your other parks and make it similar to this versus the initial presentation that might have shocked people thinking, wow, we're going to have roller coasters and stuff here, but it's not like that. And you guys have been very transparent on explaining that to the community for those that come out, and everybody that's thinks it's pretty sensible. And again, the 30-year agreement with option to go, this isn't a show. I'll give it a second and try. I just think all your guys' planning, architecture, your thought process, the terms you're using, like everything, how could you not support it, man? It's incredible. I'm excited.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. That's a great summary of, well, it's more of a praise, right?
Yeah.
So we like praises. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, you got to. Let me tell you why. Sorry, it's because I think it's necessary. We could scrutinize and be critics very easy, and I'm sure you get plenty of that. So to have people that advocate for you, like us, and we're supposed to, right? And that's where it comes from. The praise is because I've seen, when you see the strategy and the work and our process of understanding it, man. Somebody's got to, you need advocates to praise for you because the work, this diligent work, and it's all there, man.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thanks for being an advocate. And you talked about the harbor, and I think also it's the whole harbor is in a movement to become something bigger,
step up from
water. If you really think about it, it's the harbor here in Oxnard is this really great project that was built in the 70s or late 60s,
and it thrives. So it's not,
humans just carved this out of the ground, right? I mean, it was a great project back then, and we really hope that we really maximize its potential all together, right? All organizations together. The new hotel across the street, any new development that is coming up, that we better the community and the environment, the valley, Ventura County.
Yeah, you guys are bringing vitality back. Honestly, that's the way I see it. That's the way we all see it for the most part. Again, except for the Kentuckians that are a little bit like, man, it's always going to be this way, and what's it going to do in tourist and blah blah blah. But it's like it used to thrive. It had a pulse at one time. That's something I like to explain to people, is like the parking here used to have people coming, 4 restaurants going on, nightlife, music, entertainment. So it's not a new idea. You're just bringing life back to something that's kind of trickled down. So that's how, so anybody that might say, how's it going to handle like it handled it before, just get out of the prehistoric days. We're going modern. That's not LA, but it is something that used to benefit from that, the motion of the ocean. And you guys are just,
and it will never be LA. It will always remain something special, right? And the main reason is that the infrastructure, as you said, was built for something that was here before, and we just have to bring it back to maximize the potential of that infrastructure.
Think about an old car. I talk to people about that, right? And sometimes I throw my old Jesus lines in there as well, right? When you're what is it called? That lady, I just brought it up the other day. I was using it in my men's group and I was talking about it. Like you're being reconstructed, right? Restoration. There you go. You're bringing restoration back, right? You could have a car that's been in the back of somebody's backyard, all rusted up. And some guy takes it and puts color on it, and next thing you know, it's cruising on a Sunday, right? You take this vehicle that was a classic sitting in somebody's backyard, just getting weathered to death.
Mhm.
Somebody takes it away on a trailer, spends time, detailing it and getting it and refurbishing it, and then he pulls it out of the garage, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, look at that cool car! It's so beautiful, colors." And that's all you guys are doing, man. You're taking a classic, and it's gonna be ready.
Yeah. No, I think people in general like to create value. Be it intellectual value, or be it physical value, and I think that's why you're doing what you're doing, right? You're creating value out of something. You're creating value for the community, and as long as we have this drive as humans, I think we can create great things.
And find purpose, man. I know it's like the hotel that you guys are going to put together. Talk about that for a minute. That was pretty neat with the furniture and the way it was like refurbished furniture and stuff like that.
We initially brought up this hotel. And when we did a little rearrangement of the buildings on site, we decided that we're going to put that into a different phase of this construction. And so our current idea is that our phase 2 will be, some floating hotels out on the dock, because out here there's a really long dock with I think 17 slips, and one long dock where you can just pull up your boat and tie it down. And so the idea is then to eventually bring it to that location. On land right now, we took the hotel out for this phase of the construction.
Cool. But the part that you had, it looked neat I was just going into that because like our fishing poles that we had that the kids rebuild, right? That's kind of the same thing. Look at this rod that's been tossed away and discarded, and now you get to modify it and fix it, and then it's purposeful again.
That's why you would love, elements of Karls, where we have this hotel in Germany. It's called the Upcycling Hotel. And the concept of upcycling, it's not really a term yet in the English language, but it's that you take something that would be one man's trash and you make it your own treasure, right? And you build something out of it. And so this hotel is constructed, out of pallets, out of old things that genius designers put together into a great composition where people are just mind blown. And those kind of things you find a lot in Karls. And that hotel, for example, that we showed there, that won many awards in Germany for its concept and for its design, and that of course inspires us. It's a good reflection on what we do, and it's like, let's do more of it, And we love to use reclaimed building materials as well for our facades, for our retail areas, etc. Just like you use old fishing poles, And why not?
Yeah, to show. We're all like antique-ish, like we like some history stuff, I think, built into it, And again, looking at your guys' other locations, like the castle and what you guys are doing here. Again, if you haven't, if you're listening out there and you haven't seen, again, I just had the privilege of being invited to some of these meetings because, again, we're going to be affected by it, but we're always there with our pom-poms cheering for the development. But that's what I'm saying, showcasing the brilliance and the genius behind it. And we always like to leave with some inspiration too, man. And one of the things you guys inspire me, I'm trying to build a legacy. That's what I want to be. I am building. I use the word try. So to hear a grandfather that's passing down, you start in agriculture, and then you're able to invest into amusement parks and redevelopment, right? Just showcases what a family legacy looks like. So I keep an eye on Robert and you guys with my little game binoculars, right? Like, let me soak up some of that game. Let me take some of this terminology, because I think that's inspiring too, man. Where you guys started and your attachment here, like that's why I always try to bring that up, because for anybody that's trying to construct a future for their self and their family, you guys are showcase that, man. And I think that's important in brand building and stuff like that, is to have visionaries that go back generations and going forward, and thinking down the term, long-term forward thinking, and still utilizing a little bit of the old, but looking at the new stuff that's coming up. And it's a showcase. So I'm studying you guys' business model from generations back too, man.
That's really cool that you say that. I mean, I am honestly honored and inspired to be part of it, right? Because that is an entity where you see that it's not about the short game, it's about the long game. It's about the infinite goal, right? There is no, we want to have 200 million revenue. There's a way bigger goal, and the goal is so big and so far away that it's almost not attainable within a lifetime, right? And once you create these cultures that are just kind of feeding themselves, I think then you created something wonderful, right? And I think if you just aspire for it, that's already enough, right? Then you know what you want. And I mean, you're not sitting here and saying, hey, I want to have 100 kids learn how to fish next year, because then what do you do after next year, right? So you probably have a goal in mind. What is your long-term goal with the organization?
Long-time goal, man, is just to lure kids in or lure the community in and brainwash them into taking over the world, because there's seeds that we plant that you're never going to see harvest, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I just want to continue to inspire, man. And, for the organization, again, we want to get our books translated into German so that you'll be having our children's workbooks in your Karls all over Europe as well. But long-term goal, man, is just, to inspire that there's seeds that I'm not going to get the chance to see. And knowing that we helped have somebody chase their dream or their vision, man, and you never know who you're going to touch or inspire down the road. You just have to have faith in the work that you're doing is going to be impactful. I guess that's my goal. I would say something like, I want to, not monetary, but I would definitely love to be, in a comfortable position for me and my grandkids. The Bible says to think 3 generations down, man, so as long as our legacy is able to continue to inspire our generation and my next generation to continue to be servants and workers out there to inspire the world, I guess that's my ultimate goal. I know that's kind of deep, but that way you never get satisfied. Like you say, man, if I just put I have a number up there where it says Kevin, how much I want to, the Brannons, and I have that thing circled, see the RAN, yep. And it has the goals of what we want to have. I do have money up there of what I think it would take to sustain a lifestyle, but also what I'm willing to do to get it right. Self-development. What am I going to give back? So, just kind of entwine that and for our organization, man,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think, and especially like you just said, this word that when you teach something to the kids, right, you don't see it immediately, you see it. Like if you think back to your childhood, or I should think back to my childhood, I don't realize that my teacher was good or my coach was good until I'm like, 40. So it's like, that's kind of a pity for the teacher because he's never really seeing that impact right away. And I think that by itself forces you to think long term, right? Otherwise you would not be able to maintain what you're doing very long. So that's very cool. Another question I was going to ask in terms of legacy. So I see a lot of media items here. So you do YouTube. What are all the things you're doing? On how many channels are you posting, and what are the things you're creating?
So right now we just got up to 2 local television channels. Real Anglers Fishing Show. Have about 12 complete episodes of Real Anglers Fishing Show. We do have some sponsors and advertising. That's in Ventura and Santa Barbara County. We're on Pursuit Network. We're on Mogo Television, some other streaming apps, YouTube. Going into schools now, where our children's workbook have QR codes where the kids could watch it, kind of like a modern Teddy Ruxpin. We have a marketing meeting on the 29th of this month, invited the whole team on how we're really going to move this brand of educational material. And I'm taking notes, kind of like a PBS style, like Sesame. I feel like I'm a modern day, kind of like Jim Henson. We have Carl doing some stuff like that with it, but Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers kind of neighborhood mixed in with Reading Rainbow, The Crocodile Hunter, Kratz Creatures. These are films that I watch where they're educational, but now that kids can go on there, you don't have to just watch PBS at 10 o'clock in the morning. When I would tune into Reading Rainbow, is that there's accessibility for them to get it, but also this encouraging stuff like the Mr. Rogers, when he would have lessons that were built into it, Sesame Street, something that the family could watch together and be wholesome and meaningful, inspirational. And then there's a nostalgic effect that people my age are looking back and saying, I remember that similar stuff when I was growing up, so we can do it together. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of like Monopoly, right? You played as a kid, and then now you're an adult, you play with your kids, right? So kind of this idea of that going in. And right now we're saturating it pretty good. We have a full production team now. We meet every Monday. We're every Wednesday. We only miss the podcast when Scotty's enjoying his retirement life and he's in another state or Hawaii enjoying his Mai Tais. But just being consistent with the team to do so, the space to do it in, and some little bit of financing to make it happen, and growing. We got interns now from the university and the high schools we're a job ready placement facility, and got kids that are working here from adults with disabilities. And we're just bringing this community of arts and school and different organizations to reach through media, man, through multimedia.
So how do you fund most of it?
Out of our pocket, we got a little bit of funding from our fundraisers. We have tackle swap meets. God provides, man. Funding. We got a grant with probation that we're just waiting on the fine tuning of that. Our fundraiser is June 1st, But I got this imagination that if I was to dwell on how am I going to get funding to make it work, I'd go crazy and I probably would quit.
Yeah.
So I just keep the foot to the throttle and utilize resources that we have. And so far it's all worked, man. If I got to go out and, solicit sponsorships or again, collaborate with organizations that send us staffing and interns and they're getting workforce development out of it, then that cuts down our cost for personnel. So there's ways that you could figure out, it's kind of like the old, indigenous way, right? Maybe we're trading right now. Do trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll develop your high school students and they come in here and they're doing meaningful work, right?
Yeah.
So they're growing and we're growing together.
Yeah.
So it's a way to still, hey, let's trade my fish for your furs, for your spices. And then we all get to eat kind of a thing, And that's kind of how we're staying afloat right now without losing your mind about funding.
No, that's really great. So a big aspect is really to prep them for the job as well, to prep
them for their future.
For the future.
Yeah, and like coach them for ownership. Mm-hmm. Not just their job. Like, how do you have ownership? Mm-hmm. How do you get to see the business aspect? And if you're an artist and you have to get distribution, how do you get distribution as an artist? Is your frame, does it just sit in your mom's house up on the window? Or are you putting it in mats? Are you selling it? Are you showcasing your work on national television across, like real ownership? And how do you build the whole thing? Not just come and work for me, but if you wanted to do what you love to do, what steps would you take to own it, to occupy it,
Yeah. No, that's a great philosophy. Like starting with yourself outwards, and then everything else will fall into place, right? If
and to get them that confidence, like be courageous, be bold, just like holding this thing, like you said, that thing, like getting people comfortable to say, hey, here's the confidence. If I got 2 confidences, I could do 2 or 3 more. Or I got 5 confidence. I could cast this fishing pole. I could throw a jig. I could hold the fish by the lip, take it off. I could cut it up. I could fillet it. Now I get to eat. I get to harvest what I've done. But if you're just overwhelmed by just trying to figure out how to get the line off the reel, you might never pick it up.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. So there's a sticker that I just put up in my office, and it's from Robert and his sister. They put it up for the employees, I think. And the first big thing that it says on top, translated, it says "risk boldly," right? Mm-hmm. Period. And I think that is such a simple but meaningful and deep thing, where it's like, okay, I feel in a lot of parts of society we have unlearned to risk boldly because we're being punished for taking too much risk, right? Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, how do you teach somebody to risk?
I think just believe in them. Tell them, hey, I think if you set an expectation and say, I want you to give it a try, let's find the solutions. Why is it preventing you? What's preventing you from doing it? So there's let's say me and you we're a tandem, guys in a helicopter to go jump out of an airplane, tandem, right? And you're coming out the first time, and I'm on your back because I'm the guy that I'm doing it, right? Idea, yeah. And then you're like, okay, on the count of 3, we're gonna jump out of this aircraft, and I go 1, and I push you. Yeah. I don't wait till 3 because you're gonna pull back. Yeah. When I say 3, you're going, you see it. So I just say 1, and I push you.
Oh, then I wouldn't jump with you again.
Yeah. No, because after you fall, you're like, oh my God, this ain't so bad. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is wonderful. And then you're up there by yourself, jumping out on your own. I think you have to instill in people. Okay, so I'm getting a leadership award tomorrow for Alumni of the Year, and I wrote that into my speech. Somebody had to tell me, Kev, you got leadership quality. There's something to you that you can do great things. So I think by encouraging and inspiring other people is the way to do it. Let them fumble a couple times, and tell them it's okay. Again, if you get a bird's nest in that fishing reel, hey, we've all got bird's nests. Yeah. But after we get it out a couple times, then you got to master it.
I think what's just coming to my mind is as you're telling all of this with a lot of positivity and optimism, right? That's something that's really attractive to us as well. The Germans, they are a special type of people that are a different culture than the Americans, of course, and we. I would just generally say we are not as positive and optimistic, and we love the optimism over here. It just seems like America is indestructible, right? It's like whenever something happens, people just get up, and it's always positive and optimistic, and that is really interesting to us, right? So we draw a lot of energy from that. Always coming here, everybody who I come across on this property in the harbor, in the city, in the whole California, they're curious. They wish you luck. They wish you well. They want to know more. They're optimistic about your future, about their own future. Yeah. And I think this unshattered optimism is just something that is so important, and I think people are gravitating towards it, or towards the people who are exerting it.
Be the light, man. People will gravitate towards you, and I think that's just important is like, and risk on yourself, bet on yourself. If I put in, you're going to be stressed out regardless, right? Go to work. I was an exterminator, right, Scotty?
That's right.
And I could go to work and stressed out with 18 orders a day for them to get another private jet for their stakeholders, or I could be stressed out of my place trying to build a Brannon's a jet. Either way, I'm gonna have stress. But if I take some of that marketing idea, and the guy that started Orkin, John Otto, he had to branch out and start his own. He had enough courage to say, hey, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to create a solution for this thing and start catching rodents. And there you go. Right now, the bureaucracy took over and stakeholders and that sort of thing. But the initial pioneer, the visionary, bet on himself, man. Bet on yourself. Roll the dice, shoot them, shake them, and bet on yourself, man. That's my philosophy. You know what I mean? What you're your biggest lottery ticket, bet on you. And what if it all goes right? Instead of saying, well, this could go wrong, and that, what if it doesn't? Don't play the what if game. What if it all goes right?
Yeah. Great.
100%. So that'll do it right there. That's right at our 45 minutes. Anything inspiring you want to see? Oh, any dates are in particular we could see? I don't want to reveal anything you've given me if it's not okay to share out there. Is any dates that you could share with people what to look for?
Well, we're really hoping kind of as a big picture thing. The Olympics are in Los Angeles in 2028, and we really hope to have the Karls open before that, so that we get the people from the Olympics coming and seeing this wonderful development here in Oxnard. So that's kind of the range, from now until the Olympics. There's still a lot of planning and permitting to happen before that. But I am optimistic, and especially after talking to you, I'm more optimistic. So
get you fired up. So any idea when we might be able to get that photo with the groundbreaking photo? Any days on that?
Yeah, I will tell you when it's time. Okay, and
right.
I will invite you to it, and we'll take a nice selfie.
January, maybe.
Yeah, we're hoping to really touch something there in 2026. As I said, there's one permitting hurdle that we have to overcome, and once we have that in place, I think we can really start mapping out the timetable a lot cleaner and communicate that to people,
And just again, before we finish, this is the farthest any project has gotten in this harbor. He has his own office over there by Spudnuts with the sign up there, so he's there. He's here on the property now, so this isn't something that's still in the planning stage. I mean, some of it's planning, but it's pretty much more in the final stages of getting ready for construction or to start that part. It's not like, right, you guys have got the farthest than anybody ever trying to redevelop this harbor in the last 2 decades. So you're always on the property, walking around, checking it out. So it looks very promising that it's not too far. Here's my last analogy. If you do see something in the distance, you said your vision, if you march forward, right, you got your telescope and you look down, you're like, look, there's 3 mountain hills. You're going from New York to California back in the day, right? And then you grind and you're going through the valleys, and then you get up on another one and you pull out your telescope and you're like, look, we're just 2 mountain views behind. And then you keep on going to stay on your plan, to stay on your mission. And then you pull it out and you're like, there it is. There it is. I think that's where you guys are at right now. You guys have done the other ones and you're within range right now with that telescope. Just a little bit more to go. Yeah. And you'll get started.
You just got to keep walking. Yeah. No.
Just keep casting, as we say in fishing.
Keep casting.
My red snapper yesterday was on my last cast of the day. Just keep casting. All right, everybody. All right. Just keep casting. Thank you so much, Axel. Good work. And I think I'm gonna have a ticket for you to come to our fundraiser, man, if you're gonna be in town.
Thanks for having me. Great start to the day. I'm energized and ready to go to the next meeting now. Great.
Let's go. I got to go teach kids how to fish. Well, actually, they're pros now up in carpentry. We're gonna go do some beach fishing and carp professionals. Say goodbye, Barry. Let's go.
Take care.
Brought to you by AftCo Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Islands Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.